Welcome to a new episode of Naked, the podcast about authenticity with Matt and Phil. How are you, Matt?
AKA the bullshit busters. I'm good. I'm tired a bit. I'm sipping on my mate right now because I had an amazing day yesterday. It's funny because I didn't tell you right before we started, but on every Sunday we have an excursion day, and it has become so nice because now we have a crew of friends here. We're like almost 8 or 10 people. And it's almost like 4 or 5 couples, and we every Sunday we go and we decide an activity and we go on an excursion. So all day on Sunday I'm off. And yesterday was so nice. We went for breakfast, and after that we went to a big park and we set up ultimate frisbee game.
Nice.
And we were 4 against 4, and we played for hours ultimate frisbee, a super intense game. And everyone was so tired after, and we were drinking beers. And after that, we went back here, had a shower, the dinner, and came back to play pool and baby foot in a bar. It was an amazing. And I was so tired when we arrived here at midnight. Like, you know, these days when you just give it all, you're going to sleep like a log, like you're just exhausted. And I slept so well, but this morning like everything hurts. Like we were diving on the ground to get the frisbee, and we ran all afternoon. Everyone, like the how do you say that, the constatation, or the what we realized is that we were all out of shape, like super out of shape.
And on top of that, you had beers, so that's good.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah, because it's a Sunday fun day also. So I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm going to do the intro though before. So welcome to our podcast where we discuss about anything, where we discuss about questions that can maybe a struggle for us, what we think, our own experience. And we have a lot of feedback that we received again this week. We received a beautiful message on Instagram from Cassia, I think. Cassia. Thanks a lot for your beautiful message. I think you like one part of this message, which was,
oh yeah, for me the part that really got me, she said it's like seeing an old friend every time. It's like, wow, that's exactly what it is. We are 2 old friends seeing each other 1 time a week on a call, and that just to know that we're giving that feeling to people, for me was like, wow, okay, that made my day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you, Cassia.
And I received another one that I didn't talk to you about. Someone that listened to our podcast. I don't remember if it was the one after Valentine's Day or the one before, but basically she said that it was good because we went deep.
She likes it deep.
It seems that the fact that I don't even want to talk about it.
Sorry.
Respect. Okay. Okay. The fact that you love so much your Jamie, I think it's people are jealous. I think that's what it seems.
Yeah,
but
I totally live in a fairy tale.
Exactly. But yeah, no. But we went deep, and it created again, questions and think about speaking about it, and it's good. It's good. So yeah, that was the strong feedback I got this weekend.
Wow, we keep receiving more and more. That's impressive. I like it. Keep giving us feedback. We really love it. And what about that question you told me about?
Ooh, do you want to
that
talk
we received?
About that? Yeah, no problem. So receive a question from one of my friends.
Let's
yeah. So we have a small how do you call that?
Latency.
Yeah, we have a small latency, so it's possible that the sound today will be a bit talking on top of each other, but it's not on purpose. So one of my friends that listened to us on YouTube is one of our listeners on YouTube. So when we look at the stats, asked me this question that he wants us to answer. And the question is I mean, it's a good one. How to deal with relationship, friendly relationship, could be loving relationship in a professional context.
Yeah, and I assume the question was in French, so you had to translate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So just a quick explanation. Phil told me that he had this question, and I said, well, that would be cool if we would answer the question at the beginning of the episode that we got in between in the week. Just a quick answer. What do we think about it? And then we can go on after. So that's a really that's the first, and that's the really important question in my opinion. And literally, if you apply our motto here in Naked, which is be yourself and have fun. Well, if you apply it to your professional world, which we really encourage you to do, this question won't really have relevance anymore, because just be yourself. What do you want? How do you want to deal with it? How do you want to deal with a friend at work? Oh, it's your friend. Like, who cares if you're at work or if you're at home? Be a friend with that friend at your work. And for loving relationship, I mean, you know how I am. For me, the answers are always inside of you. You just gotta listen. What do you think is right? When you are at work, and either you have a crush on someone, or either you are in a loving relationship with someone at work, there's not one right way to do. There's not one secret, oh, that's how you should act with that person at work at all. It's first, it's what do you want? How do you want it to be? How the other person want it to be? And what you both think is right in the environment that you're in. Because when we say at work, it could be so large. Do you work in a fucking huge corporation? Do you work in a restaurant? Do you work as a janitor at night? Plugging the janitor again. Do you work? Do you work? Do you work?
He was there. He was there 14 episodes ago. Now he's back.
Do you work from home? I mean, because now everything is from home. So is the working relationship on Skype? I don't know. I mean, I'm joking a bit, but what I'm meaning is just we're all about making people like big and find the answer for themselves. So my answer to that would be, dig inside of you. Ask yourself, what do you want? How do you want it to be? And if there's another person involved, talk to them. Hey, we have this relationship. I'm having this question. Like, I don't know how to act or whatever. What do you think? Like, I think that, what do you think? And then after that, what do we think is right? And just do what you think is right. And please just be yourself in it, and make sure you're having fun. Like, at work, you should have fun. We won't go on another path, on another direction because it's at work. No, the be yourself and have fun is in every fucking aspect of your life. And that's really what I believe. So that's how I would answer this question. Maybe you have something to add, Phil, to that.
Oh yeah, I think it could do the full episode. I'm gonna say you, because it's a complex question. First of all, personally, I have kind of 3 rules in life. Which is not with someone of a family. Normal. I had for a while, like not if you're in a really tight group of friends and it's just to fling out or something like that, because it creates a mess after. And the third one was not at work, because it can create a mess. And it's based on experience. This is why, like, we know that work takes approximately more than half our life when you think about it. You spend every day, except the weekends, but basically you spend like 200 days on 365 at work. And on those days, you spend like more than 2/3 of a day awake at work with people at work. And so obviously, I don't remember what is the percentage, but I think it was like the workplace where people were finding their relationship, like at least in the top 3, I think, or something like that. It was by friends, and then it was in the workplace. So obviously, when we're talking about relationship at work, it can be really, really complex. It can be really complex, whether it's friend, whether it's when you're feeling something for someone, because you spend a lot of time with them, and it's a context that is a bit different. But I have one experience that I have to say that is about friendship. It was in Quebec, and I was like like be yourself, and have fun in that. And something happened that I didn't like. So friend on Facebook, with some people at work, because we were close and everything. And during the weekend, I was having a party at my place. So obviously only the people that were my friends on Facebook could see the pictures. What happened is that basically on Monday, the people that follow me on Facebook that were not invited at the party talked about this party and the fact that, I looked messed up. Normal. The thing is that, yeah, totally. Basically, I had some pictures that are quite bad. And it's the time also we did like parties, the 80s and things like that. So you had also like, costumes and everything. And so they talked about it in a meeting on the Monday with directors and everything. And I was pissed about that, because it's kind of almost you're sharing something with my managers that I don't want to share with them, because there is this boundary, at work also. And I basically blocked them from all my content on Facebook. And I remember this because it was really like this time, like it told me, okay, like you have to make a real clear separation between really the people that you have close to you, even at work, that you have to be careful, and the people that they seem to be your friends, but they're not your friends. So this is why I don't know what I just want to hear about that, because you say like be yourself and have fun, but how can you do that in this kind of context?
That could definitely be a whole episode. I can totally see it right now. You bring a really interesting point. Okay, where to start from here? So I think we have to define, because if we just concentrate on the question, okay, what is it like? How should you deal with a friendly relationship at work, and how should you deal with a loving relationship at work if it happens? Well, first you have to define friendly. Okay, so first, is it? Let's take the first question. Okay, first part. First, is it a good friend? Is it like you enter a job and there's a position open, your friend is definitely gonna fit the profile, he's looking for a job, you help your friend get into the company, and then it's a really good friend that you're already good friend with. Well, from there, from the very moment that you start to work together, my advice, what I would do, and I mean, for this topic, I won't be able to give any personal experience really, because I cannot think of any time that I work with close friend. I had friends at work, but not close friends. So if it's a close friends, I think it's really different. You have to sit down and say, look, you have to be mature, and you have to think about like, look, we are working together, and it's a different environment, and maybe you want to deal with it in a way, maybe I want to deal with it in a way. Let's talk about it. So it comes back to the communication aspect in every relationship. If you don't put your number one priority on communication, the chances of confusion, the chances of misunderstanding, the chances of bad shit happening are really, really high. it's like a curve. The less you communicate, the higher the risk. That's it. So if you take into account that, and you make it a goal to yourself to just say, I'm going to communicate every time it's needed in a relationship. So if your friend come to work with you, or you go in a company and your friend is there, a communication is needed, like a talk is needed. You have to sit down and say, look, we're not at the bar having beers together. We're not playing PlayStation and smoking weed in the basement. We're working together, and this is how I view it. How do you view it? And let's make sure that we have a common ground, and that we set boundaries to what we want and what we don't want. So let's say, if, in your example, if you would have done that with your friend, then they would have known that they should not in a meeting share that you were shit-faced at the party. And so it's not about, for me, it's all about planning. It's all about being proactive. Don't wait that these things happen, or that the bad situation happen, to ask yourself, oh, what should I do in this? No. Just be proactive and understand that this is different. There's a friend at work, and I would say it's pretty much the same if you have a loving relationship at work. In fact, that's even more important, because not only you wake up together and you go to sleep together and you eat together, but now you're working together. So that's definitely a talk needed. Like, you need to talk. You need to say, look, that could be a great source of conflict, and that could be a great source of fulfillment, because I know that a lot of people don't like at all to think about working with their partner, but some do, and some open businesses together, and some thrive so much. And sincerely, for me, I love so much being with Jamie that I know I would not bother working with her. I mean, we go to cafe and we work all day together, and it's not the same kind of work, but if I would feel that I need, yeah, but if I
was
would
about to say, like,
but yeah, that's different. But if I would feel that I need to have a talk, or if I would need like, look, I need to be alone today, like, fuck off, like, not fuck off, but leave me alone. I would have that discussion. So yeah, how you deal with that is it's not one answer. It's a tricky question, and I really like that you have a different take on it.
I'm honest. It's a mess in my head. When you were talking, it was a mess in my head. It was such a mess. I couldn't put my ideas straight. I'm honest with you. First, because, okay, I'm going to say all the ideas that came up to my head, all the examples that I did. First example is the two of us working together on Naked, but being friends. And because I learned through time, to make the differences. But what I told you is that I want us still to be friends. And I want us to be honest on what we do on Naked. And what is on Naked has nothing to do with our friendship. It has nothing to do with how we are together. Why? Because I learned that the bad way. In the meaning that I tried to build a business with a friend. And each time we were talking, it's a bit like what you're saying with your partner. It's like, when you're building a business with someone, when you're in a business with someone, you're basically having a baby with that person. Whether it's a male or a female, doesn't matter. You're having a baby with that person. If the only thing that you talk about is the baby, and you have problems with the baby because the baby doesn't sleep, the baby is doing his teeth, the baby doesn't want to eat, but you never take time to just be the two of you together, you're going to lose this friendship, basically. And this is what happened with one of my friends. And I kind of regret it, because I didn't lose him as a friend, but it's just that it's not, it's not the same thing. And this is why, when we started that together, I said, like, look, I want us to still have our time where we talk together, and it's not just about the podcast and everything. And it's the same thing, I'm thinking maybe I'm doing something else with someone else. And I said exactly the same thing. There is a separation for me. So that was the third thing. Maybe you want
That's
to
so
say
well
that.
said.
Maybe you want to say something in that. I don't know. Like, I mean, what you were saying about being with Jamie, I read that story. I don't remember, or someone said that to me. I read that story that there was this couple that were working together, and it's funny because at the workplace they were calling themselves by, Miss and Sir, Miss and Mister, and they were calling themselves Mister X and Miss Y, so with their name, with their own name. So it's a couple, they're married and everything, but at the workplace when they talk in front of everyone or even just the two of them, they call themselves by Miss and Mister. And they took that as a rule. And the funny thing is that when they talked about it, I'm not saying it's the thing that you have to do. I'm just saying that I thought that it was a good thing, is because they put boundaries between who they are as a couple and who they are as employee in the same business, working together. And I think he is their superior, but I'm not sure. And I found it interesting they took that, because they say like, this is what saved our marriage, basically, that we were capable to do this separation. So it's
yeah. You bring really you just reminded me of that concept. Is the hat concept? Is the concept of hat? And I'm gonna explain it. And it's funny because when I was doing my business in Quebec, $1 gift, at some point I hire a consultant, a firm that was into internal organization, and they did like a whole analysis of my business, which was only me. But they brought that hat concept, and that every place is a hat, and you have to realize what hat do you wear and when and where and whatever. But this also goes to life. And but by the way, just a second, by the way, for some reason the audio when you were talking stopped for me for like 30 seconds, so I did not hear the beginning of your story, so maybe I'm going to repeat some things. It started back at some point and whatever. So the hat concept is every well, we're talking about relationships, so let's stick to that. Every relationship, you have to have a hat. So if you have a friend, well, you have, with this friend, you have the friend hat. So if you go to work and you work with that friend, now you have the colleague hat. And the friend and the colleague have different role, and they must be, it's almost like you do an acting game. Like it's not about being fake or not being naked, but it's more playing a role, and you have to understand that the role, they don't cross. So it's not because as a colleague you go to your friend and you say, hey, I'm putting the colleague hat right now, and I have to tell you messed up there, and or we need to talk about that and things and that. And then at the end you say, okay, I put my friend hat, and do you want to go and have a beer afterward? Like it really needs to be separated. That's a really good point. It's really, really important, and probably even more with a partner, with a partner that you see every day, because you can, and you can have more than two hats. That's exactly what you said, because you have the colleague hat, but if you're superior to that person, you have the manager hat also, and the other one is under the, and at home you have the couple hat, and
the way around. It's
really important. Yeah, yeah. At home, she's the manager. So if you intermix all of them, that's where problems can arise, and both need to understand that. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but totally, I really like to see it like that.
But I get a question for you, because it's like, you were saying like, be yourself, be yourself and have fun. But if you're wearing hats, it's because the boundary, that you're placing, for example, with a really good friend. So for example, I was working in England in a business, And there was I saw that there was something wrong with the business. And so I said to one of my friends, that was just a friend, but to come in and say, look, I think you can do something. You're going to have a meeting, but it's not my responsibility afterwards. It's your responsibility. And worked for business and everything. And we had one of the best relations that I can have with someone, and we worked together and everything. But we adjusted, during the thing, because it's really hard, because when you're in certain business, you go also outside drinking, and you go, I'm talking also about the life that is outside the work. Obviously, when you're at work in an office and you're looking at someone and you're giving them file, receiving file, being in a meeting, you're in a certain context, which blocks a little bit and puts some inhibition on people. But most of the time, you have a life outside the office with these people also. And I think this is where it's really hard to have this those ads. Sorry. No? So my question is that how do you deal with those ads when you're in another context, when you're more in a social context in an environment work?
Yeah. It's just, I would say it's just about being really open about the hats that you're wearing. Like, I know it can be silly, but if you want to talk with your friend having the beer, which normally would be the friend's hat, but you want to say something about work, whatever your environment you're in, you say, hey dude, I'm putting the colleague hat right now because I have something to tell you as a colleague. And then you talk about it. And I mean, nothing is perfect. Nothing is like set up in a silo, and then you just switch a switch in your brain, and the friend switch a switch in the brain, and then when you come back to the friend, you don't remember what happened before. It's not how it works. But it really helps make the distinction, and also remove some things that the other person can take personally when they should not, about something that you say. And after that, it's just the level of maturity of people and how they can handle certain discussion and how they master their emotion or not. And everything can create problem. But we can expand on that subject a lot and really go deep and further into that. But if you just go down to the source, is what do you care about? I really like what you said about us and the podcast, and because what you really said when you said to me, I want our friendship is more important. What you really said is on the scale of my priorities, the friendship with you is higher than whatever could happen with our business or with the podcast. And now that's a set thing. And if for me is the same, which it is, so the priority is higher. It's just, where do you set your priority? Because if you're honest with yourself, and let's go back to that situation where you're at work with a friend, maybe your work is more important than to keep that friendship with that friend. You have to be honest to yourself. Who is that friend? Is it a good friend? Is it a close friend, or a friend that like you like to be with or having some drinks, but you would not take a bullet for? Like, I don't know. And just ask yourself, where are your priority? And the more you communicate them, and the more you ask the other person what are their priorities, the better ground you have, and the better knowledge and the better ground you have to play after, like to just expand. And your other question about like, how do you stay authentic? Is it like to not be yourself, to wear hats and things like that? It's a really good question, because when we think about it, that question can arise, but it's not, because being yourself is not being one thing. Being yourself is being you in relation to timing, relation to an environment. So in fact, being yourself as a friend is being the friend that you like, is acting how you want to act, or how you are as a friend. And if you say, I put the colleague hat, in fact, you're way more authentic than someone who cannot make the distinction. And you say, hey, here's the colleague and here's what I think. And you're just giving it the direction to it, and you're being yourself. You're just being yourself as a colleague, and you're being yourself as a friend, and you're being yourself as a lover. It's not, if I start putting hats, I'm gonna be playing games and not. I mean, you can do it. You can totally play games and be a total fake, but at the end, you won't win anywhere in the end. So, in fact, it's funny because I feel that it can make you even more authentic to really, because sometimes the effect that it will have on you is give you some more courage. Because if you think that the other, let's say you want to say something as a colleague, but you really fear that the other person is going to be hurt as a friend, then maybe you're going to have inhibition. Maybe you will, it will be hard for you to be yourself and to be authentic. But when you say, hey, look, I'm going to put the colleague hat right now and I have this to tell you, that's super authentic. That's being yourself. That's what you want to say, and you're saying it. So in fact, I think it's the opposite, that you get even more authentic if you start doing that.
Yeah, and I think it's a question of context also, as you said. It's like you know, maybe because he's your friend, and you know that maybe he's going to be hurt if you say stuff in front of other people. Maybe good that you take him out for a beer, you know, to say those stuff, to bring in another context where you feel more, you know, it's a one-to-one, and because you have this privileged relationship with a person. I want to come back to something that you said earlier, which is really important for me, and I think we didn't do the emphasis enough on that, is that first of all, you said like we have to redefine friends, and it's true. Like most of the people that you meet in your life and you socialize with are acquaintances. I like to separate, you know, the people, the people you meet, you know, people you meet, acquaintances. Some of these acquaintances will be like, maybe not even like, some of them will be friends, but not all of them will be friends. Okay. Friends are rare. It's really rare. Most of the people will be acquaintances. At work, for me, it's always ask yourself a question. If I quit this job, will I continue to see that person? Will I get news from that person? So how do you consider that person as a friend, even if you go out with them every night after work? London style. Go for a pint at the pub almost every night. Even if you go out with them every night, I can tell you that they are not your friends. I can tell you that. They are just acquaintances. And you have the impression, maybe because it's based on your culture, that because they go out with you every night and they tell you personal stuff, that they're your friends, but they're certainly not. And you have to be careful in that, because when you're yourself, and again, I'm talking about that, and you can feel behind it that there is bad experiences with that, because I kind of fell for it. I fell for it because in France, you know, the relationship at work are a bit more important between people, because people go at lunch together and so on. And so when I was in Canada and working there in the US, you know, I made this mistake because I believe it was the same culture, where it's not the same culture, depending on where we were coming from. And it was kind of a slap on the face at the beginning, because it's like, you believe that it's your friend, but it's not your friend. And suddenly these people is basically backstabbing you at work. And you're like, but I thought you were my friend. I thought you were my friend. You know, it's like you're coming back in high school. And then slowly you notice, no, it's not your friend. It's just an acquaintances. And that's it. When, as you said, what is the most important for you, but also for the other person? And yeah, it's such a deep subject. It's not easy to answer. And I didn't talk about love. I didn't talk about love.
Yeah. we focused a lot on friendship, and I wonder if that person question was like, on which side was more wanting an answer. Maybe it was loving. But you know what I was thinking? Yeah. You know what I was thinking when you were talking is, I cannot talk about relationship with friends that I had at work, but I can talk about friend relationship, because I had a lot of good friend, and I lost a lot of good friend. Maybe not a lot, but I lost some really good friend. I lost some normal friend. I lost some acquaintance. I purposefully let go of people at some point. Also, I mean, I think when you're starting your 30s, you have these experience behind you. Like you've lived through like youth, teenage years, young adult, uni, starting career, and everything. So you've lived through these getting new friend, losing friend, getting new relationship, loving relationship, and losing some and everything. Uh, I came to realize one thing, and I would define it this way. You never know someone until you have seen them for a whole year. And I say that because you have to live all the season with one person. You have to do a whole trip around the sun, knowing that person before you can start to think that you really know someone. Because just think about your life. Are you affected? Are you the same person, exactly the same person on a level field all year long? No, not at all. Nobody. You're affected by the sun that's coming up in the summer. You're affected by the fall and the snow if you live in a snowy country. You're affected by everything. I mean, people say we're affected by the moon. Like at full moon, I get angrier. I don't know why, like whatever. So whatever, like the astrology part of it, whatever it is, until you did a whole turn around the sun, a whole round trip around the sun with a friend, you don't know, you cannot say and affirm that you know a person. Even you probably even just start to know really the person after 1 year, a whole round trip. So it's important to keep that into account when you analyze, when you define friend and friendly relationship at work, because if it's less than a year, you cannot even consider them to be a really good long friend. Even if you really feel that that person you're gonna spend your whole life having it as a friend, wait until you've done a year. And then when you've known for a year, that's where the real friendships start. The first year is just like connecting the two wires together, and then after that you have to build a relationship after a year. So that could impact how you view your relationship at work with friends. And this applies to the loving relationship too. I mean, if you're with someone, you never know someone until you lived every day in the same place with them for a whole year. You can say, okay, I've seen the full circle. The full circle. Now I know what I have to deal with. What's the other person?
Or you have been sick during a full weekend.
Yeah. Like and for me, that really helped me. Realizing that I made a lot of change in my life. I made a lot of change. I wouldn't, the first time I realized that was a year ago when I quit my crazy ex that I told you about. It's really where, because the relationship with her just slapped me in the face so much, because we all think that we are super good as like picturing someone. We think we know someone. We're like, okay, yeah, and this girl was the sweetest with me at the beginning. It was so sweet. I was like, wow, this is a pearl. She's sweet. She's amazing. And man, at the end, it was the devil incarnated. Seriously, I never seen in my life someone. Yeah, I never seen in my life someone go from black to white like that, or white to black. It was more white to black. So after that, I was left with so much question. I was like, is my radar totally off?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck is going on?
What a woman can do to me.
so, 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 but if you think about it, it all happened over the span of 6 months.
Not a
So
lot.
not a lot. So if I would have spent a whole year without telling myself that I know this person and waiting for a whole year to see the whole round trip, I would have not fall from that high. let's say let's say it like that.
But yeah, you're bringing such a good point, because for me, it just makes me remember one thing, which is patience. We're just so bad at patience. We're just so bad at that now. I love this video from Simon Sinek, about millennial. That is super popular. That's one of his most popular video that he was on Impact Theory, where he talks about instant gratification, and it's a principle of gamification, where it's like, you want something, you push a video on Instagram or whatever, you get likes, you get comments, and people tag you, and the kind of stuff, and you get like friends, and suddenly nobody like. I remember at the beginning of Facebook, the people that knew friendship, not fake friendship were like, why do I want to have 1,000 friends? What is the point? People were, I remember this discussion with my friend in 2007, 2008. I don't have 100 friends. Why do I have 100 friends? Like that doesn't make any sense. Where is that going from? And the other one was like, I have 600. Why do I care? You have 600. Do you really have 600 friends? I remember this discussion, but now it's like, I want to get like 2 million people on Instagram, but you don't know anyone. And you disappear from Instagram during today, and you receive messages like, where are you? What happens with you? That I have a life. Sorry. but it's funny because there is a place, there is one place where you can be patient. And this place is work. Because most of the people are at work every day during at least 1, 2, 3 years. Like the situation that is right now, people will be afraid to change job. And I think it's a good opportunity to know people and take the time to know people. So if you're interested, I will say, like, obviously, I think like we gave some amazing advice still on this one, which is like, first of all, it's like what you said, put your hats, separate work from what is non-work. Separate the time, like as we do, separate the time of work, and when we discuss about what, and separate the time when we discuss about us. But then the second thing is that you have the time to know that person. If you're interested by that person, whether it's love or friend or nothing else, because otherwise it can create a mess. You have the time to spend with them. You can, as you said, see them during a year. Try to learn, how they are. And maybe there is 2 ways that can happen. Whether your feeling will stay the same or will grow. So let's say your feelings were already really high. Or maybe your feelings will go down. Because the person that at work, maybe it's what attracts you. But the person that's outside work, you're like, not for me. It's just like,
Yeah, totally. And I think I want to end like doing a little wrap up about this. And I was thinking about something when sometimes it's so hard to listen really fully to what you're saying, because there's all these ideas that pop in my head that like make me think of other things. And so I want to double down again on why this podcast is so important to me, because of the message that we send indirectly and sometimes directly, of being authentic. And this, the more and more I talk about it and the more I live it, the more I see that's the fucking truth. That's what changed everything. Most of the time you will have I'm going to be honest, that person who asked the question, I think you would have to ask yourself another question before, and is, am I authentic? Because my guess would be you're probably a less authentic person if you are asking yourself these questions. You're probably a bit scared to go and confront and just put things on the table and talk about it. I would tell you what I would do. What I would do I'm going to take a setup situation and I'm going to tell you what I would do. I can tell you what the older me would have done and what the new me would do. That would be even better.
That'll be interesting.
So let's start with the older me, okay? So the older me, not older, I mean the younger me. Let's not be confusing. The me before. Okay, so I'm with a girl. It's been like, I don't know, 6 months. We have a good relationship together. I start working in a, I don't know, consulting company, okay? And there's this spot that opened and I talked to her. I'm like, hey, you should apply. That's really good. So yeah, okay, that's the younger me. So I said, okay, you should apply. That's a good opportunity and whatever. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, there's a part of me that want her to be working with me. There's a part of me that's like, I don't know what will happen with how it will impact our relationship, but I say nothing. She applies, she gets the job. We start working together and we're like, oh, well, that's cool. We go and we start work. And then after maybe 3 weeks, the boss learned that we have a relationship together. And we just say, oh yeah, we're together. That's it. And again, I'm thinking in myself, I'm really wondering what my boss is thinking about us having a relationship here. How do you see that? Is he okay with that? But I say nothing. I just do my work. She do her work. And sometimes we kiss in the hallway and whatever. And then I'm not going to go further into that example, but what happens there is that there's me, there's her, and there's my boss. And probably there's even my colleague that all are thinking things in their head about the relationship that we have at work. Everybody piles up thought, piles up reflection, see things that they like, see things that they don't like. And everyone is living in their own bubble and having these questions about what the fuck is going on. Yeah. And the more it builds, the less people communicate. I'm going to tell you the new me, how I would handle that. We start back at the beginning, okay? I'm with that girl, it's been 6 months. And if it's 6 months already, it's because it's going good. Because I've been super authentic from the first day with her. And I've told her everything I was not, everything I want, everything I don't want. And if she's good with that, cool. And I want her to tell me the same thing she did. We're doing the thing. It's been 6 months. I start a new job at that same place. And then I see that post that is open. I talk to her. I'm like, hey, we have to talk. Okay, let's talk. Pour a glass of wine. We talk. I'm like, okay, there's that position that's open at work. There's a part of me that would really like you to take that because I can see that's a good opportunity for you. If you like it, that would be amazing. And there's a part of me that's shit scared because I don't know how it's going to impact our relationship. And I don't know what you think. And I really want to know what you think. And if it happens and you get the job, we have to tell our boss right away. I want to know what he's thinking, whatever. So we have that discussion. We put everything on the table. We know what we want, what we don't want. We define the boundaries. Okay, if it happened and you get the job, that's how we want it to be. What's our main priority? The main priority is our relationship. So if there's a bug at work, our relationship is always going to be over. Prioritize. The relationship is going to be the priority over what happened at work. And if someone's got to get out of work because it's not working and it's affecting the relationship, we're going to do it. So we talk, we communicate. So we're arriving. She gets the job. She arrives at the job and there's no bubble to pop. We already know what the other thing, nobody is thinking these things in her head. If she pops a question one day, she's going to feel she can come and talk to me because I already made her comfortable about talking about these things. And she made me comfortable also. We have that canal of communication, which is really good. And then right when she get the job, she arrive at work, the first fucking day, I go in my boss office and I say, hey, Roger, sit down. We got to talk. Oh, what do you want to talk, Matt? Oh, well, now that you probably already know, because I probably already told you, or if I don't, Jamie is my partner. We live together. We love each other. And here's a summary of the discussion we had. Our relationship is the priority, okay? We're going to give our best at work. Here's how we view it. We have these boundaries, whatever. Now tell me how you see that. Are you okay with people that are in a relationship at work? What do you want? What do you don't want? How do you see that? Because you're my boss, I want everything to be happy, everyone to be good. I want you to feel okay if you want to talk with me about it. I want me to be fine to go and talk to you about it. So we have the discussion. He's like, dude, that's amazing. I'm glad that you told me about it. And when I close the door, he said to himself, this guy deserves respect. I respect him. He had the balls to come and to talk to me about it. So
can I have a question?
Signs
can I have a question?
Yes.
Because I'm going to be the devil's advocate. Why you didn't tell him before she had the job?
Who?
To your boss?
No, you're just playing with words. I told you, maybe I already told you. I said, maybe I already told my boss or not. Maybe, because I don't know. It depends on the business.
No. You
might
should.
Imply in the...
You should be.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. The faster you have the communication, the better. That's a good point. The faster you have, the better.
Transparent.
So you see, that's the difference. Everyone at work know, and they also know that the boss know. And if some colleague ask me question, I sit down and I talk with them. Communication, I cannot stress enough how communication is important.
Yeah.
It's so important. At the beginning of the discussion, we were talking, you said like, oh, like sometimes people are like jealous of what you live with Jamie. Well, I can tell you one thing. We have really, really harsh moment too. Because I'm fucked up. Like I'm not like I'm not like
It's okay. It's beautiful.
The white knight. Yeah, but my point is just the only thing that makes us be together and thriving together is because we sit down so often to talk. If there's a problem, and girls always have this tendency of building more than men. They build inside and they explode at some point. Well, when you're a man and you know that, you have to go and pop that bubble when it's starting to pop all the time. Like you don't wait until it's getting big. You go, you sit down, you say, we're having a talk. Let's talk about that. You have to pop these bubble. The bigger it becomes, the bigger the explosion. So pop them when they're super small all the time. Like cut the grass under the feet. And then, I think it would be a good...
I will just
wrap up and turn around all that question.
I will just add my...
it was an important
answer.
one. And finally... Sure. Sorry.
It's like, I would just add one thing on what you said. If you're thinking about that someone you like in your work, and here I'm going to make a little bit of a difference with everything you said, it's perfect. And I will not come back to it because I think you're totally right. The other thing is that if you're in a managerial position, like I am, because I'm product manager and I'm in managerial position. So obviously, everybody knows you in the company, everybody sees you, everybody knows that you make important decisions and everything. You have a duty to your job and to the company, and you have not to forget that. And you have to be better at analyzing stuff, being patient with stuff, and also because as you said, people will be jealous. People will be questioning everything. People will be questioning the decision that you make. Even if it's just friendship, people will be like, yeah, but you're like that with him because it's your friend. No, like that with him because he does a good job. When he does shit job, I will tell him. But he's also my friend because he does good job, because I like people that are professional and do a good job generally. So yeah, that makes sense in a certain way. but it's if you're in a managerial position, I think this is where it's hard to do the difference, whether it's you're having love feelings for someone, or whether you're having a friendship, and this is where you have to take even more time. And yeah, you're right, communicating, but it's the patience behind that.
Oh yeah, and in fact, if you're a manager, it's your job it's your job to communicate. It's your job to make sure that you manage the situations, the bubbles, the relationship. So because what I'm saying, what you should do, and what I will do now, I would not have done it later. So in my previous example, the young me, well, my boss or my manager would have been a super good manager to come to me and say, hey, Matt, we have to talk right from the first day and tell me, look, maybe you're a bit uneasy about telling me about your girlfriend and whatever, but I'm your manager. I don't want anything to build up, whatever. Let's talk about it. Tell me how you see it. Exactly.
These are the rules.
And these are the company rules. I have to stand by them. I have to make sure you understand how we work here, and let's make sure that everything works together. Sorry.
I'm amazed that we did an episode on a question. that was a first. The 21st episode has been on a question.
That's really amazing. That's totally out of the blue. That was not, I mean, all the episodes are not scripted at all, out of the blue, but this one is special. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm honest, I received a question at, sorry, I'm just going to tell you, at 5:40, and we started our call at 6 p.m., 6:05, something like that. So that tells you, no, before that. Anyway, you understood me, but it's what happened. Like I received at 5:40, and we started the thing at 5:50 or something like that. So yeah.
That's cool. Well, so we're at an hour right now, so let's just end it on that.
So thanks for the question that you asked us. I guess if somebody has another question, we'll be happy to answer it. You can communicate with us. Obviously, you can find us on Instagram at naked_podcast. You can find us also on Facebook and on LinkedIn. You can find us all our episodes on all the platforms. The episode that you recommend, except this one, to listen, if you have to go in the past, for you, it's?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, I really love our 20th. Last week episode had something. It had a little something. I really like it. And Jamie told me the same thing.
That's cool. I will say that because I like the way you are in this one, I will say to go listen to the one about Valentine's Day. That was like the 18th or the 17th, which is about relationship. And because I love you in that one, because you show, and I'm so happy to see you like that. So I said to people to listen to that. So anyway, if you liked it, give us a comment on whatever the platform that you can, Apple Podcasts. It will be amazing, because that way more people will find us. Share it with your friends. And thanks, Matt. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you. Yeah, I responded to it was it Cassia. I said because you need to have courage to just go and give feedback randomly to people like that, and because that's being authentic. You think that and you go and you say that. That's so authentic. And for me, if you're authentic, you're a hero. So that's why we call you heroes. So thank you so much, all the heroes that got feedback to us this week. The question, I fucking love it. Continue. We really like that. And yes, you can find us anywhere. And if you want to write directly to us, it's super easy. team@nakedpodcast.live, and we can respond right there if you cannot find us on social media, whatever. And on that, we're going to tell you to always remember to be yourself and to have fun.
Thanks, Matt.
Have a good week.
You too.